Hello and welcome to I Soulify. My name is Dina Betty. This is Colleen Gianna Tiempo.
Hi.
And we are I Soulify. We are so just amazingly blessed today to welcome to you Jennifer Jost, who is a wealth manager and money coach.
Hello.
Did I say that right?
You did.
That is a mouthful, but we also have a ton of great content for you today. It's going to be lighthearted. It's going to be full of diamonds, and you'll learn a little bit more about that word diamond in a little bit. But let's talk about you and your story and what you do to just inspire women, bring out something very special within them that a lot of us suffer with, and that's the subject of money. You're in a very male-dominant industry.
Yes, 25% women.
Yeah, so
lucky you.
Kind of like,
I'm surrounded.
Kind of like our tech industry, right? We
Yes.
want more women, but it's just I don't know. Is it not how our brain works?
Yes, and I love to say, because the testing and the education and the thought of how it is on the male dominated, but actually we just build relationships, which, hello women, we rock at relationships.
We are so I'm so excited because I think that will help me too, is shift my mindset around money and the abundance, because anyway, we'll get there.
Okay.
But what I want to say before that is you have a story.
I do.
And the people that we showcase on I Soulify, we all have stories of resilience and bouncing back and finding that power within to go on. And not only go on as a human being alive. It's not so hard to keep the heartbeat beating, but to be happy and joyful, that's the hard part. So I know I work on that every day.
Yep. Yep.
But can you tell us a little bit about your journey and your tragic story in a lot of ways?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I want to learn about how you overcame the things that you've done and how you ended up in the financial world.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colleen. So if anyone can relate, raised in alcoholic home, dysfunctional home, I'm sure many of us can relate to that. And of course, what do? Marry an alcoholic, because that's what I'm comfortable with. So at 19, married young, and was just amazing. Big family, I had a small family, just everything that I've always craved for. So it was great. After several years, I was noticing that the alcoholism was just getting worse and worse, and I was becoming very unhappy. I had two beautiful children, Nicholas and Cherie, and we owned a couple businesses and a few homes. So it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the outside looking in. Looked amazing. Yeah. And I could not breathe. Have you ever got to the point where you just can't breathe? And it's just the anxiety and the stress, and I didn't even know where it was coming from. And started therapy, which I'm sure people can relate to.
Yes.
Started therapy.
So you were searching.
I was totally searching, right? And then after several months, came to the conclusion that I definitely wanted a divorce. And it was not going to go well. He was not going to accept it well at all.
And
So-
did you know that?
I did.
Okay.
I was scared to death.
Okay.
And there was no physical abuse. So I did not know that I was scared to death.
Yeah.
I just knew.
You just knew it intuitively. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that I couldn't act because of fear.
Okay.
I didn't know that's what it was.
Right. Okay.
So have you ever gotten to that place where you need to make a decision and you just can't make a decision and you have no idea why you just can't make a decision?
Yeah.
That's because fear is slapping our face, right?
Yeah, and it's hard to upset the apple cart, right?
Oh, gosh.
You try to, resonate like, oh, my life is good. I have a home, and I have my kids, and I have,
Concentrate on the
yeah,
good.
and I have shelter and food, and you try to think about all the good things, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so then I literally had no idea why I was unhappy. Like, people would say, what's wrong and why are you doing that? And I literally cannot tell you.
Yeah.
I'm just so unhappy and crying and sad and depressed, and it was horrible, and I had no idea why. Because I had been groomed over a 10-year period with the emotional abuse to lose my complete self. I didn't even know who I was, what I wanted. Like, I couldn't even pick eggs. I couldn't even pick fried eggs or scrambled eggs, right?
Yeah.
It was so just crazy. So I did ask for a divorce and moved into my own separate bedroom. And he did not take that well at all. His family disowned me as soon as I did that. It took me several months to actually beg his family to help me get him out of the home. And I knew that he had just flipped a switch.
Right. Oh my gosh.
So he just went to his own bottom of his hole. Like he didn't know how to deal with this. Exactly.
Super dark.
So you got him to move in the universe, but not the way that you wanted him to.
Very good.
Yes.
You're absolutely right.
Yes. So you guys were polarized and stuck, but you knew something wasn't right, so you made a step, which is really brave, and then he moved in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So after several months, he moved out. We had a couple little skittles there. I mean, I could go on and on, right?
Right.
We could be here all day. How long would you guys like to be here?
Yeah,
Go get some water and some coffee right now because we could chat forever. So, long story short, he ended up with the kids. He was supposed to have, his family was supposed to have visitation, but he ended up with the kids. And I started dating immediately. And there's some vulnerability in there that I could share later,
right.
That I'll share a little bit more about myself. But just to keep the story short. And he showed up at an event when I was with my companion, and he had the kids, which he's not supposed to have the kids. So we went to the police. They couldn't do anything because the event was just too huge. And so that night he kidnapped me, holding my daughter at gunpoint on his lap in a rented van, and kidnapped me while I was going to work. So I got into the van. You come out with mother bear cub, right? Grab my daughter. My son's in the back seat. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. You know, Dad's just playing a game. I don't even know what I said. And he drove us to our house and held me hostage inside of our office for about 45 minutes. There was a duffel bag with rope and tape and paperwork. And I don't remember what the paperwork was to this day. I don't know if he wanted me to just say I wasn't getting a divorce or giving him something in the divorce. I'm not sure. And I was just all sassy. Like, this is not going to happen. I am not doing that.
Sticking up for yourself.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like, why did I pick that time to get tough? I'm
For
not
that
quite
part,
sure.
for that part to show up.
For that part, it just showed up. I'm like, I'm not lying. I'm not playing any games. This is not happening. This is just not happening.
Right.
And so I was supposed to be at work. So my employees were calling, my clients were calling. So he actually ended up letting me go because the phone was off the hook and he knew that people would show up any moment.
Right.
He said he was going to follow me, which he did for a little while. But as soon as he stopped, I went to the payphone in those days. Remember payphones?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They're not used for anything good these days, I'm sure. But I went across the street to the payphone and I dialed 911. That started the hostage negotiation standoff at my home for 11 hours. And I was 2 houses over, which was amazing. It was owned by nurses, a husband and a wife. And so they would pull me over to negotiate for a little while and then go back and forth all day.
He was holding your kids hostage?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, my son was even speaking for him through the door to the hostage negotiator.
Can I ask the ages of your children when this happened?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
My son, Nicholas, was 8.
Okay.
And my daughter, Cherie, was 5.
Okay. All right.
Yep, 8 and 5.
Okay.
And my son was very intelligent, so I'm sure he thought he was having a blast playing negotiator with the negotiator. And after 11 hours of back and forth, the chief came on the scene and they issued a 10-minute ultimatum.
Okay.
And
Which you're not supposed to do, right?
No.
Okay.
So from what I know this is a podcast and I have to stay legal and all that great stuff.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, that there's a lot of things about the Souza case that is in the hostage negotiation training school at this point, because there was things that should not have happened. And again, this is back in the early 90s. This stuff did not happen back in the early 90s.
Right.
In a small
In a suburbia.
town, right? It just didn't happen. So they weren't trained, or they were, but they didn't. I mean, nobody thought. We were in a beautiful home. I had a Jaguar, a LeBaron, another car, swimming pool. The house was huge. Like, it didn't seem like
This family
would do this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get that. And after 10 minutes, 3 shots were fired. And
after the ultimatum.
After the ultimatum. And this is in my head. If I went back to look at the depositions or the timing or something, it might be a little bit different. But in my head, 3 shots were fired after 10 minutes. It could have been 7, 8, whatever it was. Right. And the negotiator finally came over and just sobbing and told me that he took my children's lives and himself.
Oh my God, it's absolutely horrifying. I'm so sorry. Wow. This is heavy duty.
And this honors my kids.
Yes.
So this honors Nick and Cherie, and they're here with us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And they're going to get silly. So if anybody drops anything or spills anything, that's Nicholas. Just say, hey, Nicholas. And if you start giggling or laughing uncontrollably, that would be my daughter, Cherie. So
I feel they're here with us. I feel like
I love that.
Spine
totally.
team.
Of course they're here.
Yeah, they're totally here. They're awesome. And you know, you go back and forth with, are you going to share this? Is this going to be who you are? Is this sensationalizing
do you mean
your tragedy?
Like your identity? Do you mean it in that way?
Yeah.
Like as if...
No, I always remember,
like,
Dina, you said this when your tragedy occurred, that you always looked at me and said, this will not define who we are. You know, you're not going to be the victim.
Right,
you know?
and I meant it in that way.
Yeah, and you did, and look at you, and you're the same way.
The irony is it very much has defined.
Yeah.
It very much has defined me, but in a way that I got to say how it defined me.
Exactly.
In that moment, you know, 5 years ago, I meant that it would not ruin us, define us. So
and you've done the same thing. So let's talk about that and talk about how you picked yourself up and how you got to be in this financial world and what you're doing now to help women. And
right. And one of the things I want Jennifer to share with us is the reality that you did go through very dark times.
Oh, yes. There's no reason to get up.
Yeah.
When something like that, your house is gone, your children are gone, your husband's gone. So yes, I just could not imagine causing the pain to my parents that I was experiencing.
Right.
So of course there was days that I didn't want to get up, and why am I here now? Why am I even on this earth? And I just kept thinking of my parents. There's just no way that you would want to cause that amount of pain that I was in.
Right.
So it just kept me alive. It just kept me there. And then, here's my pivotal moment. Are you ready for the pivotal moment?
Definitely.
Give me all my resiliency, right? I was in a grief group with parents who have lost children, because you had to go find your people. Totally recommend that. If you're going through anything at all, go find your people.
Yeah.
We have to find our people who've experienced what we're experiencing, just to see them still breathing sometimes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They could do it, we can do it.
Yeah,
We need that.
Exactly. So there was one couple that was just sobbing every single week, and there was a lady that just handled her grief with such grace. And then I found out that this couple's son had passed 5 years earlier, and I said, oh, heck no. I cannot do this excruciating, devastating, panic, paralyzing pain for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I looked at her and I said, I am going to survive. I literally made a decision.
I can relate to that.
Right?
Yes. Yep.
I literally made a decision. I'm going to survive, and I'm going to survive with grace and not anger and not bitterness, just like you were saying. That it's not going to define me. I'm not going to be the victim. I'm literally going to survive. And I knew at that minute, I knew I was here for a reason. So I believe, again, we all shift as we grow, right? But I believe that I'm here on this planet to empower women. I believe that I'm here.
High five to that.
Yeah, right?
High five.
High five.
We need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
Right, we do. We need our support. We need our group. We need our peeps. We need to help each other up. Instead of tearing each other down, we need to be helping each other up.
Right.
Because we all have stuff. It doesn't have to be crazy like ours, but we all have stuff.
Yep. Everyone has a story.
Everyone has a story.
A little later, I want to dive deeper into that, why we as women tend not to go into a space of empowerment. And I know the money, when we start talking about wealth and money, we're going to get there. But that's one of the things for me today I've noticed in my experience is, my God, you're amazing. You have so much power and just capability within you. And yet we do become those caretakers, and we do take oftentimes a step back and go to the back of the stage instead of the front. And I want to dive deeper as we get into our talk. So how does this feed into the industry? that you've picked.
That's great. We never know what we're going to do from day to day, right?
Yeah.
But you did feel called.
I absolutely
And then you funneled
felt called.
into this space.
Yes, exactly.
Of male dominance, which is interesting because you were leaving a space of male dominance.
Yes,
So
totally.
interesting, parallel path to go back into that.
We all surround ourselves with situations that we're comfortable with, right?
Yep.
So you were comfortable with that, and that's probably why you chose it. But
Yes.
it could have been one of, I don't know.
Yes,
kind of
I was,
grasping.
because
Okay.
I've been a business owner from
Yeah.
way back when.
Yeah.
So I knew money, I knew business, I knew numbers. I just felt comfortable with that.
Yeah.
My dad raised me. Now, we all have our limitations, of course, but I literally did feel unconditional love from my parents as much as I possibly could with the crazy codependent, love my mom, and she'll just say it to today, Miss Ostrich, right? Miss Pollyanna, which has gotten her through so much.
Yeah.
And my dad with the alcoholism, and me being raised, as a codependent, but he always respected me as a woman. So he would bring me into the business conversations, which was great. We don't get that too much, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
That is great.
yeah, it is, and I'm so grateful for that because I'm very comfortable around that. And so I just kind of.
It seems like he valued that piece and fostered that piece within you.
Yes, I think he did because he loved my mom so much and adored her, and it was his second marriage, and she saved his life. So he saw that an empowered woman is just necessary in relationships. We
Right.
need to hold each other. We need to be able to hold our men,
Love that.
hold our men as kings, and they need to treat us as we are holding them. They need to hold us also.
You're the queen.
And yeah.
And I feel like after hearing your story now and hearing how you got into financial world, it was really the love that you felt from your parents that got you through all this. And so it's interesting that it carried you over into your career as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Like you survived because you didn't want to disappoint them, right? That was your survival. Like, I love them. And
I didn't want
them
them to experience the pain.
the pain, right? Because you
Right.
cared for them and you were
Right.
protecting them.
Yes, and it was a very tumultuous relationship growing up because
Right.
of the alcoholism.
Yes.
So I didn't know that at the time because I had my own issues, right?
Yeah,
with them.
sure.
And then, of course, after all of this, I've healed all of that, and I can see the alcoholism and the behavior separate from the actual person.
Gotcha.
So my dad passed last year, and he was at 94.
Wow.
Great run.
Yeah.
And I was able to sit with him the day he passed and said, Dad, the whole week leading up to it, I'm here for you. Is there anything you need? Can I help you with this transition, with this going out? And he did ask one or two things, and I supplied that for him. And of course, he wanted to make sure my mom was going to be taken care of. And I said, absolutely. But to be able to look at that in my 20s, because this all happened when I was 29. I lost my kids when I was 29. To be able to go from that 29-year-old to have that conversation with my dad would have never happened, ever. So to be
Such
able...
a good point.
Oh my gosh.
That we as human beings can grow, develop, blossom, and have such a deep and different perspective that you would not have had. And for me, I like maybe not even capable of having at that time.
Oh, no way. There's no way. Because I wouldn't even have cared. I literally would not have cared. And I just wouldn't have. But over all these years of healing and educating on alcoholism and addiction and seeing that it is a disease, this is my beliefs, of course, but it's a belief, it's a disease. It's not who they want to be. It's not how they want to act. And to see that separate from the person that they really are. And they had their own stuff, right?
For sure.
Like my ex-husband, he did that because he was so wounded.
Yeah.
Right? He was so wounded.
Absolutely.
So we all have our story.
Yeah.
And we all act because of our story.
And that's something I'm super passionate about is taking the story and taking the elephant out of the room, which is the pain, and honoring the pain and befriending the pain because it is a part of us. And the loss, I thought when my daughter passed away, I thought for some time that the pain would go away. I had that idea that I equated it more to physical pain and that like a broken bone, the pain would go away. But it was the moment for me that I realized that I could coexist with the pain and that I could honor it, and that because the emotion on one side, which for me was the deep, deep love for my daughter, was so powerful, and it equaled the power of this pain, right? Because if I didn't have one, I wouldn't have the other.
Right.
That makes sense? So I love that you recognize, even with your ex-husband, that he was in such deep pain and that his choices were a reaction to his relationship with his pain. And that's a lot about what we're so passionate on this show to do, is to take that elephant out of the room, say you're completely normal to have pain and to have these sufferings in our life.
Because we all do, for sure.
Because we all do, and we're human beings. We're emotional beings. So I think it's beautiful that you came through your journey, and especially like your story about your dad, and saw the full picture, that he was a culmination of those emotions and pains, and that he had his own stuff.
Yes.
It wasn't personal.
Right. It was not personal.
It feels personal.
It feels really personal.
And I'm big at that. I always take things personally, so it's hard not to. You have to be really strong.
You do. Yeah. And I think we're all more strong than we think we are, but it's not only strong. I feel that this is step action 1. Are you ready?
Okay, ready. Get your notebook.
Action number 1. This is what we need to do. In order to have that for others, we have to start here.
Oh, amen to that, sister.
Yeah.
So I had to look at me and what was my part in all of this, and love myself just as I am, with all my flaws.
And how did you learn that? Was that just a light bulb, and was that Nick and Cherie?
I have never done anything by myself. I learned that right quick.
Yeah.
Get help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get help.
So I have not done anything by myself. Right now I have 4 coaches.
Yeah.
And mentors.
Love that about her.
Yeah,
she's like a rock star, always educating herself.
Always. There's nothing that comes out of my mouth that I created myself. All I did was put it all together in my head. Right? So we need help. So definitely get help. So,
but don't sell yourself short. You took the information, and it's one thing to be taking in this information. It is a whole other thing to make it your own. That for me is where the hard work is that we can bring in, I mean, we've got so much information in our world right now, with the internet, it's like
crazy.
But the fact that a person would take step 1 and utilize it within their, I give you so much credit, because that, I think, is such the foundation to get where you want to go.
I agree. I totally agree. And
so that's step 2.
I will take credit for that.
Usually take the information
is to
and do something about it.
Say
Set
something.
some goals.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, and we have to be willing to be vulnerable. And this is me. This is my journey, and what's helped me is be vulnerable in front of people.
Yeah.
And share it with people, because I screwed up. So this is how I screwed up. Are you ready?
Right.
Totally
what
ready.
Not to do.
Yeah. What not to do, right? If you
oh, that's so sad. What not to do when tragedy strikes.
I'm sorry, or don't cause the tragedy. In my head, I caused my children's death. That's what was in my head. And we could have no. It's like, whatever. That was in my head.
That was your belief.
That was my belief. Well, and I did to a certain extent. I did not pull the trigger, of course. However, I did, because I was dating.
Yeah.
So I actually met him a year before. So it could be considered as an affair.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted out, and that helped me. And I couldn't get out due to the fear without a catalyst. So that was my cattle prod saying, hey, cute guy, do something now, right?
Yeah.
So I did, and I had to look at that, and I had to go back and look at that and own that. And I was so shameful. And I felt so horrible. Of course, as a mother losing a child, you're going to feel guilty anyways, because that's natural.
Right.
So I did that for the first few years. But this was a different, embedded in my self-worth and everything about me. And it came out in everywhere. I was nowhere near worthy of love, joy, happiness, wealth. I just didn't feel worthy of it.
Right.
So I had to look at myself and find out where that was coming from. And of course, everything leads back to so many things, your childhood and then tragedies. And I had to say, you know what? Yep. Now I know my 29-year-old woman, why she did whatever she did, and I absolutely know all of that, and I love her. and I love her. She's so adorable, trying to get everything she possibly could and just breathe, which I get all of that. And at the same time, if you're having a separation or divorce from somebody who's unstable, don't date. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Don't do that and then go out in public. Like, don't do that.
Yeah,
he might have
like
done it anyways.
cattle prod.
It's a cattle prod.
Yep.
He might have done it anyways. I don't know what would have happened. That's not, I don't care. My only point is that I had to look at my own self.
Right.
And I had to look at my flaws and how I needed to heal my flaws.
Right.
Not to put shame, blame, or say that's who I am, not any of that, but just to heal that portion of me. To know, oh yes, and I am totally worthy of love, joy, happiness, and money.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
totally worthy.
Wow.
No matter what we do, we're worthy just because here we are.
Right. Yeah. And finding,
beautiful.
that's the strength and the power that you got from your situation, is you were able to manifest these things for yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
And a crap load of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Sounds like a crap
every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day, like you said,
That's
every day I make sure I can be
amazing.
happy and joyous,
Right.
and I'm forgiving myself every day.
Yeah.
Every day. I was just crunchy to the 800 number. Have you ever done that? Oh my gosh. Love you 800 number people. But I was a little crunchy.
Yeah.
But I cannot understand your. I'm so sorry. I cannot understand your what's
And
it
I'll
called?
say,
Your
dialect.
yeah.
I need someone that I can
sorry.
understand. I'll take your supervisor now, thank you.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that we can look back. So every night I try to look back at my day and say, okay, how could I have done that a little bit better and more from love instead of fear or anger. So
Love.
just trying to be from love, because what we put out, we get back, right?
Right.
What we put out, we get back.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if we're mean or rude or even quick or abrupt or missing that person in the grocery store line. Now I do the self-check all the time now because I'm in and out. But I'm missing my chatting with the people in the line, and I believe everything happens for a reason. So I run into you at the grocery store for some reason. There might be a reason. We might have just needed to feel our energy or something, or we don't know. We have no idea. But slow down and honor these moments and see who we pass and see what happens, because we can feel them later. So I always kind of look back and say, yeah.
That's another thing to write down. Slow down.
Oh
and
my gosh.
This is something in our society with all the technology and everything. We want everything really quick. So yeah, you're going to make these kind of changes.
Quick now and in a hurry.
It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. And this is interesting because I'm an art teacher, and my students want to learn how to draw overnight or in one class. It's not going to happen. And I tell them all the time, slow down. It's amazing what you'll see and what you'll learn. It applies to everything, right?
Oh, and don't forget the self-critic part. I love when you tell
the
people that.
self-critic, yes, yes.
Share that.
We need to get rid of our self-critic. It's a number one.
Yes.
It disrupts all of your learning and all your progress. You need to name it and ask it to leave when it shows up. That's the best way I can say.
Yeah.
Out of all the learning I've done. Okay, you're here, fracky, get out. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's not a nice name.
No.
But it's
not,
okay. I'm not
okay,
gonna
we're
say
not
it.
going to say
no,
that.
because we're classy women.
Today. For this 45 minutes.
So I'd like to take this time to segue into your work.
Okay.
And we talked about that and laying the foundation of having you on our show today, and how your story has brought you to your work. And I'm guessing we're going to be talking about empowerment.
Yes.
But I want to hear that through your own words, and how you did get in a male dominant industry, and you're focusing on women empowerment.
Yeah, money.
And
I
money.
hear about money.
Right. Money's
So
so
We
will
all
share
want
that
more
with
money.
us?
Absolutely. So after all of that happened, I ended up with a lump sum, and I went to a family member to invest it because I didn't know anything about investing. After 10 years, it barely even grew. I had just got my bachelor's in psychology, and I went through my PTSD and learned about all of that, and how I was affected. I was having panic attacks and anxiety and couldn't fly and all that. So I worked through all of that, getting my...
You're a rock star.
Oh my gosh, it was,
Rock
totally
star.
get all of that. And I had a panic attack when I went to the winery a couple months ago with my daughter.
Like,
oh yeah, I got remarried. Remember that cute boy? Yep, married him, had 2 kids. Yeah, love my kids, Journey and Parker. They're
Yeah.
adorable.
Oh,
so I
great
took my
names.
daughter to the winery for her first wine tasting, and I'm down in the whatever, and I'm like, oh, gotta get out right now. I haven't had a panic attack in years. So at least I had the tools to know exactly what I needed to do. So anyways,
That's a good point because it speaks to the journey.
Exactly.
Yeah, you need
to have the
tools. Number 5,
Yeah.
you need
Yeah,
tools.
we need tools.
We're giving
Yep.
you
Tons
of tools.
Yes. First of all, slow down.
Go down. Recognize.
Recognize
and you're
it,
super
yeah.
aware. I want to point that out too. Is what I'm hearing a lot of is awareness.
Yes.
Tons of awareness. Tons of accepting what emotional state you're in, and I hear that coming through. And I like to teach awareness.
Awareness
it's
is
not
half,
about me. It's
awareness
about
is half the battle.
it's
really
like
is.
a majority of the battle.
Yeah.
And we
So.
can't be aware without being okay with our flaws. So as soon as we
Good point.
just love ourselves, no matter what. Here's another exercise. I love to give exercises.
Yeah,
These are great.
yeah.
Well, we're going to have
Okay.
notes at the end
Show
of the
notes.
Yeah,
Show notes.
Show notes
Show
at the end
notes.
of the podcast.
I'm going to learn what those are.
So
Give us exercise.
So what really helped me with one of my coaches had me do mirror work. You could probably Google mirror work, right?
Love mirror work.
But 5 minutes a day, every day, looking at my face in the mirror. Okay, you can imagine how that started out, right?
Yeah.
But then you end up loving yourself, and I did it for 30 days. I went on from there, but I started with the face. And it was so healing just with that, because you can only beat yourself up so much. Like, it's going to fade, and then you're going to start loving yourself within the 5 minutes in the 30 days. So,
like, crap, I already concentrated on that.
yeah, I've been there, done that, right?
Can I put my arm in the mirror now?
Yeah.
You
No?
stay right
No?
here.
Okay.
What about
Okay.
these?
things
What about
first.
these?
Yep, all those. Gotta love them.
This? Okay.
Gotta
Love
love
them. They're so great.
Gotta love them.
Gotta love them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that is really, really helpful. Mirror work is amazingly
Okay.
empowering, because you will start, of course, you're going to go throughout your whole body after that, but you want to start with your face and just
Okay.
love yourself.
Okay.
Just love yourself. So as you can imagine, there was years of tears, which I'm sure
Years
you've
of tears.
experienced, and we know that, right? So I love my bags, and I love all my wrinkles, because it held the grief that I experienced because of the love that I had.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you gotta love yourself.
Right.
You gotta love all of that. So mirror work is awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so then this money did not grow at all. I had my psychology degree, and I'm like, okay, now I need to educate myself on finances and investing and all that. So I did, totally understood it. I could totally get it. I could explain it to people, and I just loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And
And it seems like it brought up a passion within you. This,
it did.
Okay.
You're absolutely right, because now I can reach women, because we might not be able to go say, I need healing, or I'm not feeling great about myself, or we don't have to wait till like me where we couldn't breathe to ask for help. But everybody wants to talk about money.
Yeah. Yeah.
and everybody wants more.
Right.
Everyone wants more, and find out where the
Right.
heck it's going when it's not in my bank account.
Yeah.
And why am I spending so much at Starbucks? And this great feeling from shopping, or not control over it, or whatever it might be.
And
we're
it
okay
feeds
to talk
into
about.
addiction. I mean, it
Absolutely.
feeds into addiction, even though that those are under the radar addictions,
Yep.
right? They're not maybe AA worthy.
Exactly.
But-
Well, there's Debtors Anonymous and Shopaholics.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
Yep. Sorry, I'm an
Sorry.
AA. I love my 12 steps.
my mother might need to go to retail therapy.
Just saying.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Well, hoarders will be another show.
Yeah, that's a whole nother one.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so
awesome.
you're connecting the dots. What I find amazing about your story is how the pieces of the puzzle, although very tragic in its foundation, put together your calling. And you listened.
Yes, and it unfolded, right? Like I
Right.
didn't know.
You didn't know.
I was taking care of myself first. Like, what the heck is investing? And then sharing people, you teach what you need to learn.
Yeah.
Right? So then I was learning it better by sharing it. And it's like, oh, wait, I can do this. Like, I can do this well. So then it just kept evolving. And then it's like, wait a minute, I can do the most amazing financial plan. And I'm really big on life insurance, as you can imagine, because it changes our life. So we want to make
Paul
sure
and
that
I
we
just
have
renewed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
that's
job.
awesome.
Number 6, get life insurance.
Yep,
Just
absolutely.
renewed
We need
because
it.
I feel the same way. It just is
Yeah.
such peace of
Policies
mind.
on everybody.
Yep, policies on everybody. You
Yep.
can even do the ones that grow cash values, so you don't have to worry about the death benefit. We'll just
Okay.
use all that great money. There's lots of things that you can do there with it, and it's really inexpensive. So that's all good. But when I'm building this wealth for everyone, if they didn't feel worthy for it, something would happen. And it's like, oh, wait, this is worthy of money, worthy of wealth. I needed to be worthy of joy and happiness and love. Oh, wait, and wealth. Because money would come and then it would leave. It would come and then it would leave. And I'd have a great life and experience it. And then, oh, okay, now I need to go get more. It's like, what's going on here? So then I had to dig deep and find out where my worthiness was lack of. And then I'm just a few steps ahead of my clients saying, oh, wait, are you not feeling worthy of all these zeros in your bank account or in your retirement account or whatever it is? Let's talk about that. And so then I bring out my real stealth empowerment and we talk about being empowered around our money.
Give us an example of how someone won't feel worthy about their money. Like, I don't understand that. Like, they don't deserve it. Like, I have $100 grand in there and I just want to give it away, or what?
So
I don't get it.
Good. Yes, and you have $100 grand and it'll never grow if you don't feel worthy for more. That's step one. Step two.
So step two, I talked to, one of the conversations Jennifer and I had recently was about the fact that after the recession, I wanted to rebuild. So every month I put a crap load of money away, but it makes it so I am literally living paycheck to paycheck. That's how it feels to me, even though the money, a huge portion of the money we bring in is getting saved. But I feel still so restrained. And the way Jennifer asked about how I'm feeling, she said, so could it be that you would feel like amazing and empowered because you're having this discipline to save? I go, no, I feel like crap. And she's like, but could it be that you, so I've been thinking a lot about that and asking myself, could it be that I could feel this other way? And my mind is now starting to look at other ways that I could feel besides feeling like crap, because
or trapped by your savings or your goals that you're setting.
So I have these goals, but ultimately the goals were not making me feel really great, even though I felt like it was a smart decision.
Because we should. How many shoulds are there out there around our money?
I'm shitting all over myself.
I'm shitting all over myself. And we all do, right?
Yeah.
And so those are not your shoulds. Those are society's shoulds or the financial services industry's shoulds.
Oh, love this.
Guess what, ladies? We're girls.
Yeah.
We're girls. We have breastises.
Yes.
We have feelings. We have emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So the shoulds don't necessarily work for us.
But what do we do when we're in charge of the, like in my household, I pay the bills, I'm in charge of the savings. I feel like it's a very responsible position, and I should all over myself.
Yes, we do, right? You should get a coach.
And that's another step. Get a coach.
Yes, we need help.
Ask for help.
Financial advisor, you know, a money coach, something that's going to help you plan for where you're at, because to take it off of you.
Okay.
So that you can put your responsible hat on and ask somebody smarter than us. I do that every day. Ask someone smarter than ourselves that knows something. And then you can release that shitting because you know you're on the right path. That's one thing.
Okay.
The next thing is it according to your goals? You and your husband's goals, your family's goals. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? The shouldas, is that really for you? Or do you not want to have to worry about buying a home? Like we should, the American dream, all have a home. Guess what, kids? Yeah. Not necessarily
Renting sounds
anymore.
good right now.
Renting's actually not a bad situation, right?
You can call someone, come fix this.
My drain's clogged with my hair.
Yeah, so
I need
sorry.
some stuff taken out.
So sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
So I really believe in customization, getting to know clients, getting to know yourself, and who do you want to be? Not what do you want your money to do for you, that comes later, but who do you really want to be a year, 3 years, 5 years from now? What do you want your life to look at? Now we're going to make our money match that.
Right.
Not live within. How many of us are doing what we can do because that's what our money is allowing?
Yeah.
No, we need to control that. So we need to step back and say, okay, who do we really want to be, and how can money enhance our life? Because money rocks. I love money.
And it affords us so much opportunity to make memories, experience, fun, exciting things with friends and family, and ultimately, isn't that where the real meat
That's
of
where
life,
the richness is,
right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so
I probably went off on a tangent.
No, I love it. I'm learning a lot. I would like to know more.
I know. So
Good, I'm doing my job then.
Yeah.
absolutely. So as far as erupting those feelings and emotions within women in particular, and giving them that space to bring in abundance and have and be who they want to be. Let's take an extreme example of a person who wants to have an amazing business, and they want to be a business person, and they want to bring in an abundance of money, which seems pretty much like the American dream for most people.
Right.
How realistic is it to go for those dreams? I mean, money is good, abundance is good. Is it possible to get all of that? And do you help people like build plans in the space of business, or is it all personal finance? Talk to me about
the difference of that.
Yeah,
perfect. So, yes, I do all of that. Call me. No.
We're gonna
call her.
We'll give you all Jennifer's information.
So, I've been a business owner since I was like 23, and I grew up, my parents were business owners, so I grew up with that. So I already have that mindset, love it. And a lot of it is emotion. So I think in all of money world, entrepreneurialism, is that a word?
Yep.
Entrepreneurialism.
Sounds like it. We made
It's
it up.
an ism.
Yep.
I like it. It's an ism.
It works.
And with all of that, no one's discussing the emotions around it.
Right.
I can give you the best financial plan, the best rate of return, the best PE ratio. I can give you steps to start your own business. That doesn't mean anything if you're not feeling worthy and you're not on a good foundation. So I believe that we need to start with you and start with where we're at with that, because I'm spiritual. I do believe in something way bigger than us three sitting here right now, right?
Yep.
So that's not my job to know what your life is supposed to be. My job is to empower you to be the best Dina you can be.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then it's your
I'm ready.
I'm in.
then it's your job to be open, slow down
Yes.
in order to be open and receive the abundance that's coming our way every day.
How do you break through oftentimes a person's reaction to be honest with themselves? Because I've found that people will say, like, I want this, I want to feel this way, I want to be able to have this, this, and this, but yet their actions are different than what they're saying. So do you run into that a lot?
You're
Doesn't match.
very good intervieweries, people. You're awesome. Okay, I'm going to share with you. So I'm going to do like a little, what do you call that?
role play. Yeah.
We'll role
Do
play.
a role
Okay,
play.
you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
No, I'm role playing with Colleen.
Okay. Okay.
I can role play with you all the time.
Yes,
Yeah.
We're going to
let's
start
do
by
it.
Colleen.
I'm ready.
Okay, Colleen, girl.
So if I'm sitting here, Colleen, oh yeah, we can't see below our boobs. Okay. Just learning here. I'm new. So if I'm sitting here and I share with you, you know what? I totally got taken in by the 2008, 9, and 10 fall. I had 4 homes. I was married. We had 2 six-figure incomes, 2 children, taking care of my parents. He had 3 children. We divorced or separated during the time. I lost my 6-figure income. And it in turn, I lost all of my homes. I lost everything. I felt so worthless.
No. Yeah, you felt
Right?
worthless.
I felt
yeah.
so worthless. So if I'm sitting here sharing my huge mistakes, I'm a financial advisor, by the way. Did I say that?
Yeah.
At that
Yeah.
point.
I started in 2005.
Okay,
Yeah.
so at
Okay.
that point,
I was
you're
already
you
Miss
built it up.
Financial Guru.
Okay.
And here
built
I
all that.
am experiencing all this. It had nothing to do with 2008. It didn't have anything to do with investments, but it all coincided, timing, which is very fortunate for me. However, looking at that, and I'm sharing my huge vulnerabilities. As a financial advisor, I lost homes,
Yes.
got a divorce, and not knowing where my money's going to come from to take care of my family. She only is going to share with me.
Right.
That's how you do it. You be honest and authentic with your friends and your peeps and who you want to reach, because now she feels completely comfortable
So you've
to
taken
share with me.
all her armor.
All her armor's down. She's like, oh my God, I can totally feel you, right?
Yeah.
So in the traditional financial services, masculine, what happens is we go into the piece suit office and we sit here and say, okay, money coming in, money going out. This is where your money needs to go. How come that? Why are you spending so much on that? How come your hair's $180 a month? No.
I gotta look good. That's right.
Dang, dude.
I know you're looking.
That's not a budget cut.
I don't even say budget.
No.
That's the B word.
Yeah.
We say spending plan.
Oh,
We
I
get
like
to choose
that.
where we want to spend our money.
Yeah.
So I shift, like Dana was
Okay.
saying, I shift a lot of the terms and the,
Damn it.
and the thinking
You're like,
around
oh.
it.
Maybe I
Spending.
could think of it that way.
Spending.
Yes, you
plan.
can.
Yes.
You will.
She
for
said
sure.
that to me. I'm like, maybe.
Yeah. That's okay.
Shift.
Dang it.
Come on.
Totally. So that's how
Okay.
that's how I get to my clients, and I get to just
Being
anybody.
real. It
It's
sounds-
being real, being
seems like you're
authentic, and saying,
saying,
this is
yeah.
how I did all this. Where are you at? Let's get you where you want to be. Because I don't know her plan for herself on this planet. I don't know what she's supposed to be here for. I do know that I need to empower her the best I possibly can and let her know it's all within. And she has it all within her
Yeah.
to be anything you want to be, to do anything you want to do. If you want to go sit on the ocean and draw on a rock,
Yeah.
I got that.
Yeah.
We'll get you in a motorhome,
Okay.
$500 a month. If you want to go travel the world and be able to do that, if that's your calling, that's where you're at. All I need to do is empower you enough to get you satisfied so that you can allow the openness and the abundance to come in. And even really expansion. That's my new word. Expansion,
that.
write that down.
Well, because
Love
and
that
then
word.
once you start seeing what's possible, you are willing to expand because
Yes.
then life is about creation.
Yes.
So then we can continue to
Yes.
create. Yeah. Well,
And we start small.
we do, and I
It could
think
be anything small.
yeah, I totally small wins add up to really big wins.
Absolutely. Every time, and we celebrate. So I have all my clients have a money dance. Do you want to see my money
Yeah, I
dance?
want to see it.
Well, just
Let's
remember
do it.
when you stand up, it's going to be like half.
Okay, I won't stand up. I'll just do it up here. But it's literally more vulnerability.
Yes.
Let's see.
But we have to celebrate
Gotta
all the
get
wins.
jiggy with it.
Yep. So this is my money dance.
I can do that. Yeah,
So
yeah.
everybody,
Oh, yeah.
you could do your
I
own.
think I just
It's
pulled
my-
my back.
It's my birthday.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So we have to celebrate the little wins.
Yeah, I
It
like
doesn't
that.
matter what it is. You got a refund from PG&E. I don't care. You found money in your purse. Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't matter what happens.
do
We,
that.
we
I
have
was
to.
cleaning. I found $5.
Oh, there you
Add
go.
to the bag.
So we get excited and we celebrate. We have fun around it because we're actually falling in love with our money. We are building a healthy money relationship.
And it feels joyful.
Yeah, it's
right?
so
It feels
fun.
like on that higher space of the emotional ladder.
Right? And then what we put out, we get back.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're happy around money, do you think it might show up more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could talk about this for hours and hours. So
Obviously,
let's
I can.
let's
Me
say
too. I
let's
wanna-
say
how do
for and this is a personal feeling that I have a lot of times is we'll go out to dinner and it will be like a big splurge dinner. We had a great time, so that emotional piece is there, but I'm like, I'm not quite sure if we should have spent $200 on dinner when, you know, I know our budget. Now my husband, love him, would die for the man. I'm so blessed to have him. And he's pretty clueless about our whole financial. He is the breadwinner.
job.
He's the breadwinner, yet it seems like he's not in tune. So how do you have joy in a space where you want to be able to, this speaks more maybe to on the fly, going out to dinner, we're on the fly. It's more spontaneous. You want to have fun. Can you still have fun and
Yes.
still have a spending plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, pick me.
Yeah.
So yes.
Okay.
So our spending plan gives us the empowerment to choose where our money is going to go. So we look back at what we did, not with that mean little critic that you were talking about. It's
Right.
just the data person.
Okay.
But then we look at it, then you look at it with me or your coach or your financial advisor, whoever you pick, or even a best friend, do a buddy system. You look at where you've spent the money, and then you choose, I'm going to do it this way for the next couple months. And then you forecast, just like a corporation.
Okay.
You're going to forecast where you want that money to go. So then now, if you know that you have an issue with one specific thing, so let's say being able to splurge on dinner, you're going to put $200 or $400 a month or whatever it is in that category. So now you have to go. So now you just shift it. Right? And then for people,
Have a party.
right?
Can I come?
Yeah.
Okay, now look how different
Because I
that
don't
is.
have any in my budget.
Right?
I have to go out.
Yeah, can I go in your budget?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Can I?
Spending plan. Okay. Yes. No B word.
I'm in on her spending
It's a buddy plan.
Can you write that in? It's a buddy
Absolutely.
plan. Yeah, can we be buddies?
So I actually had a client who took her coworkers to lunch every day.
Wow.
Guess what stopped?
Yeah.
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 Oh, I thought you. Oh, I thought.
No. No.
like, oh, she
because
be my
we.
friend.
But you know what? She wanted everyone to like her, so she was buying them lunch.
Oh.
So
okay.
as soon as we
Because
got down,
she wasn't worthy.
she wasn't worthy.
Yeah.
So as soon as we got down to, oh honey, you're badass. We love you. You're awesome. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. You're perfect. Oh yeah. What's the 100 things that I do good? Write them down. Oh yeah. 100 things that you like about yourself or that you do good.
Yeah. Write them down.
Empower yourself.
Task number 7.
Right? And so when she felt that, she's like,
We
oh,
got some homework to do.
right?
Yes.
But then she switched it to just taking them out on her birthday. How much more memorable was that?
Yeah.
So she treated her coworkers on their birthday, and that was their special thing.
Wow.
That's so cool.
That's really
So
cool.
anyways, back to you.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Pick a certain dollar amount that you have to spend every month on just yourself.
Okay.
Now, it could be $25. It could be a pedicure. I started this out with a pedicure because I thought that was splurging, single mom, no money,
Yeah.
you know. So I did a pedicure. So I had to spend that. But you pick the place or the thing that you're going to purchase or go, and then you can't do it for like a week. So now you're telling your brain that you're worthy. You're telling your brain that you're wealthy, and you're going to splurge money. So now you're telling your brain you've got lots of money coming in and everything's fine for that whole week before you go spend that. And then when you go and you sit there, it could be a glass of wine at a fine restaurant, it could be a full meal, it could be, you know, the pedicure, it could be splurging the dinner, whatever it is. That whole time you were sitting there just telling your whole body, your subconscious, all your critics, that you're awesome and you can have this and it's enjoyable.
And you deserve it.
And you deserve it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is it really come down to training our brain?
Yes!
Neuroscience.
We did not
Ding,
practice
ding,
this
ding,
at
ding.
all, but it sounds
Yeah.
it sounds like money. You could really plug in money, or art, or happiness, or fulfillment in any way to training our brain.
Absolutely, because we have all the stories from our childhood, all the stories from us growing up, all the social media out there. It's not our fault, ladies. It is not our fault.
Not our fault.
We did not do this.
Yeah.
It's everything that we've experienced until now that has created our relationship with money. So let's change that.
Yeah.
Let's go back and look at these things to say, oh, that doesn't serve me. Oh, that doesn't work for me. Oh, this is what works for me. So our thought in my childhood home, work hard, make money. Guess what? I'm not working hard. And somebody's going to call me.
Right.
So that's inaccurate. So thank you. That does not
mythbuster.
serve me anymore. I don't need to work hard to make money. So we have to look at what's in our subconscious and then train our brain. You're absolutely right, Dina.
I love that.
But
I
do
love
it with
that.
love and fun and joy.
So can we transition to a space that's not so joyful for many, and that is back to the subject of divorce?
Yes.
And you had just mentioned that when all of that converged with your second husband, that you were divorcing, and there was that major, again, loss. And in this case, it was financial loss. So how, for our audience members who are either considering divorce or have gone through a divorce or are currently going through a divorce, what kind of feedback do you give them in relation to training your brain and your expectations, and how can they weather such a storm of divorce and financial loss or financial changes?
Yes, it's big, right? It's one of our biggest obstacles, and there's several different ways to do it, but there's a lot of it that you don't have control over. So depending on how antagonistic the divorce is, definitely attorneys, search for them that support you. CDFAs, Certified Financial Analyst. Divorced Financial Analyst. I'm actually learning that now.
Wow.
Because I've been divorced 3 times. So
Can you tell our audience what that is? Because I know
Yeah, it's fairly
a little
new.
bit alphabet soup for me.
Yeah.
So
Right.
What
is that?
It's like
Right?
PPRMC.
So
took us 18 months to learn an acronym, but that's a
I
whole
love
other
it.
subject.
we all get acronyms, right? So when you go through a divorce, everybody calls an attorney first. So the attorney is going to do great things to help you with the law, and the judge is going to be the final decision maker. The Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, CDFA, is the financial expert in the divorce. Attorneys are amazing, but they are not trained financial advisors. So there's a lot about the finances that they do not understand or have time to even deal with. So a lot of attorneys partner with a CDFA, and then we will be the pre-money. So before the divorce is final or even thought of sometimes, that's when we go in and split the assets, give you an idea of what's happening. A lot of people don't know exactly what's happening, but we can tell you what's going to happen now and in the future with your money. And so a lot of things get separated that might not be appropriate for both people. So, and for me, being a CDFA, I will be working along with the emotions around it also, because of course there's so much that goes into the divorce.
Seems like there's so much value and peace of mind that you can bring through that process. And I'm assuming that for many of your clients, it will be their first go through this process, and that.
And it's
could be
confusing and scary and a lot of acronyms and this form and that form and all of that.
Right.
So definitely get help if you're going through divorce.
Once again, number one, get help.
Yep, right. We're back to number one for sure.
Repetition works for me. Get help. Get help.
Yeah. We all need help. We all need help.
Quick sidebar, because I know a lot of women out there are caring for their aging parents.
Oh, yes.
And it's scary to navigate their finances. They don't want to look at it. And there's like, how are we going to care for them long term? Do you deal with that
Absolutely.
as well? Okay. Good.
And a lot of it because
that's a whole other show. We'll have another show on that.
Yeah,
I'm experiencing
it.
Yeah. Right? I've been taking care of my parents for years. And so my dad just passed at 94. My mom's 86. She's doing great. But I've taken care of her, and there's so much I'm learning through that too. So when my dad passed in July, Social Security cut off and the Veterans Aid and Attendance cut off. I just got Social Security for my mom corrected.
Wow.
It took me 6 months.
Wow.
So I had to pay for everything for her for 6 months. So it's not overnight.
No.
And I was even on the Social Security website saying, oh yeah, you will just up. No, you won't.
No.
We had to go there 2 or 3 times. So we need our magic bucket to have extras if we might be ailing or caring for our ailing parents for sure.
Yeah, that's another topic.
Right.
It's a
long-term
big
care,
one.
huge belief.
Yep.
Huge, because I am not going to be a burden on my children.
Nope, I don't want to be either.
Absolutely not. Long-term care is absolutely huge, and there's so many different types that you can do now that fits for you. So I do long-term care planning.
Good, that would be great.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
Sign me up.
Yeah, sign me up.
I know, that's what I said too. So you've shared so many wonderful things with us, and just to sum it all up, what I'm sensing is that a root of all that we've talked about goes to our emotional state of mind, and that you really empower women to bring that to the surface through your own vulnerability, your own story, and being real, and through that, small wins happen, and they're able to grow and move towards, would you say, their overall big picture goals and dreams. And I think one of the most beautiful things about life is the ability to keep dreaming and to keep having hope, because that's sometimes hard when you've gone through some really dark times, is to be in a space of hope and possibility, and feel that you're worthy of happiness and joy and peace. And I love how you said that earlier. Well, I don't love it. I wish you never had to go through what you had to go through. However, I do love that you just had this moment where you chose to forgive yourself. You chose to be happy. You chose to keep living. And that's what our show is all about, is that we have this power. And you said that. You said everything we need is inside of us. And oftentimes we're looking for the outward
stuff outside of us.
Right?
Right. Well, I told my son this morning about what we were doing today, and I said something that really resonated with myself. I was like, you know what, Dominic? I said, people deal with themselves on the outside. They go to the gym, they work out, they think they're eating healthy, and they're still not healthy. And we deal with the person from the inside out. Yeah. So what you're talking about with even money is something exterior, but first you have to deal with what's inside. How you believe, your beliefs about money, and
isn't it amazing?
So it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely. So can I shift you a little bit?
Sure.
Love this.
You can cut it out later if you want. So how you just said to your son, you said something good came out, and you were having your body accept that. Like, I said something good, because it's not just I'm good. Say that another way and own that you said something totally profound to your son today. Share that.
I said something really profound to my son today.
Do you see the power and the difference of how we talk?
I kind of want to go straight down my butt.
Right?
I'm going to
sit up straight now.
Yeah. Isn't it so amazing? Just that small shift is going to empower her to make her next decision. That's how important it is to shift our subconscious.
Thank you for that.
And can I
Thank
share
you.
with you how beautiful your blue eyes
Oh,
are?
thank you. Thank you.
Gosh, they're so gorgeous.
Thank you.
They're electric.
They are.
She's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome.
You all are beautiful.
Thank you for letting me share that.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. Thank
So-
you. I need
Feels
you.
good, huh?
Yes, it feels good.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
Darn right.
Darn right.
Darn right.
Darn right. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, hell to
we
the yeah.
Swear anymore on the
Get that out.
Hell's fine. It's all good. How can somebody work with you? How and what are the programs?
I'm all full, sorry.
Yeah, do you have a book? Do you have a book out yet?
I'm writing it now.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going with a friend because we don't do anything on our step one alone, right?
Right.
So we're going away
gotta get
again
better
this
at that.
weekend because we have to just be away and I have to unplug. And I think the book's going to be called Wine, Women, and Wealth.
Okay.
And that leads me right into.
Oh yeah.
I have
plug.
I have a meetup called Wine, Women, and Wealth. If you're familiar with Meetup, it's meetup.com, meetup.com. And it's virtual and it's free. This is my give back. So it's actually this Friday night. It's the last Friday from 5 to 7 of every month. Jump on there, ask questions, we chit chat, we talk more about the F word, feelings around money. So it's really fun. And I support everyone in recovery. I'm a huge 12-stepper, so it doesn't necessarily mean, although it started with Wine, Women, and Wealth, and I have winery owners also on there. So it's just a big group of women coming. It's really amazing. And that's one thing. The next thing is feel free to jump on my website, which is www.jenniferjost.com, JenniferJost.com. And I do offer a complimentary money breakthrough session, which is a free 30-minute call. You'll see that on the website. And I'd love for you to put in the promo code SOULFI, right?
Yes.
iSoulify.
iSoulify.
Yep.
That way I can track where they're coming from and how you get that. And you'll also see the third thing. If you're ready to shift your life right this minute, if you're ready to experience what I just did and to empower yourself a little bit more and to experience some more joy, I do have a special. So it's called Jumpstart. If you want to just jumpstart into your relationship with money, it's only $497. It goes for 3 months.
Wow.
Right? It's great bargain. And because we all love bargains, right?
Yeah.
I'll get two pair instead of one.
Yeah.
And it goes 3 modules, which you will get. You have a group call with me every week. It's a weekly call and it goes for 3 months. It's really, really amazing. But you'll see more on the website about that.
Okay,
Great.
So we'll have all of the tips for today's podcast and our talk show here. We'll have all of that at the end, and we'll have our tools, so our different strategies. How many did we outline?
I think there were 7.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay, 7.
She's good.
Lucky number 7.
I
Calling
can
you.
count really good. I'm good with numbers.
You're so good. It's that visual mind of yours. We'll have the different options for the Jumpstart, and what was the other one called?
Wine, Women, and Wealth on the meetup.
Oh, yeah.
And then the
meetup.
other one, Jumpstart, Wine, Women, and Wealth.
Her
A
website.
money breakthrough session.
And then a money breakthrough session, and then we can tie that all back to your website as
Yes.
well, and we'll give you the promo code. Any parting words that you wanted to share with our audience?
One thing, I just want to make sure that anything that comes through money-wise, tangible-wise, I am giving back to Her Smile.
Yes,
Oh,
and
that's
so
great.
Her
Fantastic.
Smile, for those of you who don't know, it's a separate organization from iSoulify. It's the organization that our family started after our daughter passed away, and we help families. We do 2 things. We help families who have lost a child, a dependent child, or a parent with dependent children, and we also teach and promote pre-K through 12th grade curriculum about social and emotional learning. So we are very firm, and this was because I saw how tragedy played out in my kids' lives after they lost their sister, but a proponent that life happens to all of us, and it doesn't have to be a tragic loss, but it could be a recession. It could be that your house went through a wildfire. Plug in the hardship,
Right, it
and
could
the
be
challenge. It could be a job loss. It could be, and the story goes on and on.
Yep.
So we're really about setting the foundation. We talked a lot about the mindset and just letting kids know that they have the ability to train their brain and the skills that they can do to help themselves, really. So what we're learning as adults, my goal is to plant the seeds that for children.
Yep.
So
Plan it
that's
early.
what
Plan
Jennifer's
it
talking.
early, so
Plan it early.
they don't have to do the work now.
Because this stuff is hard
I
sometimes.
know.
So that's the organization that Jennifer was saying that her give back will go to, and iSolify will continue to bring resilient women to you. And we're so honored that you listened and watched, if you're watching, and thank you.
Thank you for the platform.
Thank you. My gosh, what a great interview. I
Thank
enjoyed
you so
every
much.
second. Bye.
Bye.
iSolify.